News broke out on San Antonio Spurs social media on Monday that Dejounte Murray suffered a torn ACL in a preseason game versus the Houston Rockets. While the lingering effects of this injury are not yet in full effect, this will drastically alter the Spurs' course of action for the upcoming season. Dejounte Murray isn't a stat sheet stuffer by any stretch of the imagination, but he had such a positive impact on the floor that even Spurs fans may not be fully aware of. First off, Murray stands at 6'5", 170 pounds, which gives him the physical tools to add to his motor, which allows him to easily guard positions 1 to 3. That in and of itself is a luxury to have in today's NBA. However, we need to go a little bit beyond what meets the eye with Murray to see his true impact on the defensive side of the ball. Murray isn't going to pick your pocket much or send your shot into the 5th row, but he plays smart and physical defense. He understands rotations and help defense, and of course, he plays phenomenal one-on-one defense. When Murray was off the floor this season, the opposing team had an offensive rating of about 109, which would put said team at 7th or 8th place for offensive production compared to the rest of the league. This also means in turn that the Spurs were a bottom 10 team defensively with Murray on the bench. However, in those 22 minutes Murray was on the floor per game, the opponent's offensive rating came all the way down from 109 to 101. That would then put said team as the 2nd worst offensive producing team in the entire NBA with Dejounte Murray on the floor. Now for those wondering if this is some sort of fluke or anything like that, don't worry, because now we'll take a quick look at Murray's individual defensive numbers. Defensive rating is a calculation of dozens and dozens of factors on the court by a certain player, and the way it works in a nutshell is typically the lower the number, the better. If a player's defensive rating is higher than 110, that likely means the player is a poor defender at best. And if a player has a defensive rating of about 100 or lower, that usually means they are a very strong or an elite defender. Dejounte Murray posted a defensive rating of 98.1 last season. Out of all players in the NBA who played at least 40 games and 20 minutes per game in those games, 98.1 put Murray as number 3 in the entire league behind only Rudy Gobert and Andre Roberson. I hope I've done enough to prove that Murray is one of the best team and individual defenders in basketball, making him extremely worthy of his all-defensive team nod. So we're at the point now where we begin to ask ourselves, well, what exactly does this mean for the Spurs this season? Well, for starters, it means Patty Mills will likely get the starting job at point guard. Mills has always been a great spark off the bench for the Spurs, increasing playmaking and three-point shooting. However, standing at only 6 foot tall, he has a very hard time defending his own position at times, never mind the 2 or 3 spot. This eliminates defensive versatility for the Spurs team defense, and on top of that, Mills has a defensive rating of about 104.5, which is slightly below average compared to the rest of the league defensively. Mills also gets scored on by his matchup about 47 to 48% of the time, so he's a poor individual defender as well. In short, this simply means the rest of the Spurs team has to be hungry on both sides of the ball this year. DeMar DeRozan and LaMarcus Aldridge will have to step up huge defensively. Guys like Rudy Gay, Bryn Forbes, Lonnie Walker, and Jakob Poeltl have to be hungry on defense for the Spurs to see success this season. Overall, with Dejounte Murray out for likely the entire 2018-19 season, the Spurs likely won't take a huge step back on offense, but statistically, they're in for a roller coaster on defense. This upcoming season may be Greg Popovich's ultimate test as a coach to see what he can get out of his guys defensively. Thank you all so much for watching this quick rant on Dejounte Murray. For me, everyone knew he was solid, but I didn't think and many knew just how important he was for the Spurs' success last season. If you watched till the end of the video, make sure to leave a thumbs up and comment your thoughts below. If this is your first video, feel free to subscribe. And as always, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll talk to you all in the next video.